Right. 1.7, let's go ahead and install the update. While I give the intro, thank you for being here. Welcome to Welephant. Here is the open source thing for Welephant. Welephant is a white elephant wishlist and party tool. You can see in the README a white elephant gift exchange wishlist. What's a white elephant gift exchange? You just click the link, bam. Now you're at Wikipedia. You can learn all about it. Basically, people swap gifts with each other. Okay? So I want to get a gift that Jim likes. But here's the thing. With a white elephant gift exchange, it's supposed to be kind of anonymous. A priori, a posteriori, you will find out who gave you the gift. But going into the thing, you don't know who's getting you the gift. So I can't just like walk up to Jim and be like, what presents do you like? I need to work through the back channels. I have to ask Sarah because I know Sarah's friends with Jim. Hey, what do you think Jim would like? Or I could have everyone in the party sign up to a white elephant gift exchange app, and I could get direct insight into the gifts that Jim likes without Jim knowing that I am his assigned gift getter. See how we're using the old noodle there? Cool, so that's what Welephant is. This is episode 2 in a series. Visit my YouTube channel. The channel name is just John Vanderveer /C/John Vanderveer. And we are streaming to YouTube, to Twitch, to Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. And the video will be saved to YouTube for your future reference. What are we doing today? You can see with Blitz and Supabase, last episode, we bootstrapped the application. And this is the code in front of us. You can see the create wish list. So we have user authentication, which Blitz gives us out of the box. What is Blitz? Let's just recap. Blitz is a Next.js framework. Blitzjs.com, check it out. They give you a lot of stuff for free. If you're familiar with Rails, it's kind of like a new, better Rails for the full stack TypeScript world. If you're familiar with Laravel in PHP land, again, similar but far better developer experience. Having to do with VS Code integration, type generation, code generation, integration with an ORM called Prisma that is just an excellent ORM. You don't need to worry about SQL alchemy over there in Django world. It's much, much better. So we're using the Blitz framework, which is 2 steps higher than React. You have React, which is a rendering library. A React-based framework would be Next.js. You could also use like Create React App or something like that, but Next.js is a lot better for a lot of reasons. And Blitz.js is an opinionated layer over Next.js, because even with Next.js, I need to do things like decide my prettier configuration for code formatting, my lint rules, and some other things. Blitz takes care of all that. So we love Blitz. Okay, so we see coding Welephant with Blitz and Supabase. So, hey John, what is Supabase? Supabase is a really great Postgres server. So they market themselves as a Firebase alternative. I was never really crazy about Firebase. Like, I'm not a NoSQL guy. I'm obsessed with Supabase. It can do NoSQL stuff or SQL stuff because it's built on Postgres, and Postgres can do NoSQL stuff and SQL stuff. It can do real-time streamy stuff. You can have database-level functions. Postgres can do some wild stuff. We're not going to take advantage of all the Supabase features, like you see edge functions. We're not going to be doing edge functions on the Supabase side. They also have storage, like file storage. Like when you think about a Postgres database, you don't think about like the equivalent of an S3 bucket where I can just hold some physical files. Supabase has that. So it's a Postgres server, but it's not bare bones. It is feature rich. It is like the full potential of what Postgres can do, pushing the boundary to where it can be SQL, NoSQL, structured data, physical files, blob storage, edge functions. They have their own row-level security, which is really great. I won't get into what that is, but it's like a really super advanced security. They have authentication. So we're going to be using the Blitz authentication. And we love this, right? Authentication for free. We have multiple options. Competition is great. I don't need to roll my own authentication anymore. It's 2022, y'all. I just need to pick the right one. We're going to pick the Blitz one because when we're coding along, it's more ergonomic, basically. Okay. And for now, they're also going to have launch week 5. You can sign up for that. I did. It's free, and you might get some swag. We all love swag. Supabase sent me a shirt back in the day. That was cool. Okay, so we're going to sign in. And for now, they are giving free databases. I don't know if that will be perpetual. Cool, so here are some prior projects. We're going to do a new project in the Vanderveer org. Yeah, so they have a free tier. Oh, they have a pro tier too. I'm not sure what the difference is there. Maybe at launch week 5, they will explain the differences. So this will be the Welephant database password. Let's generate one. I don't want it to okay. I clicked generate, so maybe it generated a new one. Okay. And I just signed in with GitHub. You can sign in and sign out with GitHub. Cool, so here and there you go. It says it's setting it up, but I already have the URL. That is the remote endpoint to get over to my database. So that's what we're going to use. And then here's the service role. I'll probably take that off screen when I copy it. So we're going to set up environment files, and that's how we will inject this into our application. Environment files are built into the Blitz and Next paradigm. So we're over here in VS Code. This is the File Explorer tab. Oh, do I have some files to check in? Those are from different projects. Nothing to check in on Welephant. We're up to date. Great. So you can see I have an env file that came with. So env files are a really great way to inject secrets and property variables into your application, and they are first class supported in Next and Blitz. We don't want PowerShell. Let's open Bash. Cool, I got Bash. Close the PowerShell. Restart VS Code to apply the latest update. Okay. So I installed it, but I didn't restart. So we'll restart that. In addition to getting Supabase, I also want to get a remote URL where I'm deploying this bad boy. So here's Welephant. I want to have like a welephant.com kind of. It's not going to be that domain name, but I want to have it remote hosted so that you can view a live version of the application instead of just viewing source code. To that end, I will want a hosting service. So there are free tier hosting services. So we're going to get into that today. And we're also going to talk about feature branches. Here we are on GitHub. GitHub has an issues tab. We can use the issues tab as a task manager. It works really well. There's also something called GitHub projects, and they're integrated. So I can take an issue here and put it on a Kanban board. I'm not going to get into what Kanban is, but these work really well. You can also have discussions here. GitHub has another feature called GitHub Discussions, which has some nice bells and whistles that if you find your open source project is having many discussions in depth, maybe you want to crack that open. Similarly, if you find your project has many issues in flight at the same time, worked by different people, you need to organize the chaos. Maybe you want to crack open projects. If your documentation is really crazy, maybe you want to crack open wiki. But all of those, you can just start here with your issues tab. It's a really simple approach. It's just like a to-do list, kind of. You just create these issues, and then you talk about them. And you can have a discussion right here. So these are also can be used for feature branching. and we're going to do that. Okay, so VS Code restarted. What's new in VS Code? Seems like nothing awesome. Nothing awesome that's new, but that's okay. Command line is good to go. So how do feature branches work? I'm in Git, I can say git branch. I'm on the branch called main. I'm going to create a branch specifically to work on these issues. And I need to make one more issue, that is the events entity. People, like events have many people. People, this is users, have many events. I think that's kind of all we need to do for now. Oh, events have dates. So there's the created on day. There's gonna be like updated at, created at. We also want to have like when the actual event is, like planned date. Planned at here. Planned at seems kind of strange, doesn't it? So here's the schema: created at, updated at, or standard. Scheduled for date. Is that a good term, scheduled for? How about event date? Event date. I guess we'll want to have time. Event time is a date time. Okay, so events, like there's like a lot of people that can sign up for the event. Say maybe RSVP can be like yes, no, maybe. So how will we do that? This would mean events have many RSVPs, and then RSVPs have people. I think there can just be like yes, no, maybe arrays, and unresponded, like no response. Undeclared. Yeah, events have many people, and undeclared, invited. Invited by, there's the whole invited by thing. Do I want to do that? Not doing for now. So we're not doing that for now. So undeclared and invited would be kind of the same, undeclared and invited. Invite feature would be something else. An invite feature would be something else. So here we'll do an events entity, and then we'll do a separate invite feature. User A can invite user B. User B is set into undeclared status with respect to an event. They also get a crafted email. Okay, so we can do that separately. So what are we going to work on for now? For now, let's work on this events entity. You can see in the URL, it's issue 5. So we're going to take that and make a branch out of it. So I'll say git branch init events, or let's do 5-init events. So we're going to, that references the issue number, the issue ID, and then we also have just a kind of a concise description, and it's using kebab case, right? Dashes, all lowercase. So this is also called pretty URL printing, like in a URL or something that has spaces. There you go, coding life -store. You can't put spaces in the URL. If you put a space there, it turns into a URL encodes it. So I can go google.com/food. You see it turns into %20. That is the URL encoded form of the space character. So you can't just have space characters in there. Okay. So we're working on this. Init events. We'll create this event and then we will find a hosting platform to deploy to get a remote URL. I guess we should do Supabase before the remote URL. So we'll do this, and then we'll do Supabase next, and then we'll do a remote URL, and that'll be it for the stream. So buckle your seatbelt. Cool. Here I can use the Blitz CLI. I believe the command is gen, G-E-N, or even I think I can just use the letter G for generate. So let's look up the Blitz generate documentation. By the way, if you're on TikTok, you can go over to YouTube or Twitch and see the whole screen. So we're going to Blitz generate all, and that's going to give us resource model and all this stuff. So we're going to Blitz generate all, and then we're going to name the model. Blitz G all, this is events. Let's see. Event is so tricky because there is a, there's like the user perspective of what an event is, and then there are like technical events. So we'll call this a user event. Even user event, you might think like clicking or scrolling. These could be considered user events. So we'll call this a Welephant event, W event. Yeah, I'm gonna call it a W event, a Welephant W event for Welephant event. Okay, and so what does a W event have? It has a name. Let's look up the syntax here. Name will be a string. So here's Blitz generate all project. String. Here you go. I created the UUID feature, by the way. Foo::UUID is a shorthand syntax for this. I created that. Okay, so field name type attribute. So this will be name. Type will be string. I don't think we need additional attributes. So we can do name, string. What else does the W event have? It has a event time. Event time. event time. I'm going to do camel case on that. This should be a date time. It also has yeses, nos, yeses, nos, maybes, and undeclared. Undeclareds. Yeses are a list of users. Nos, list of users. Maybes, maybes, maybes. There's also a type entity that's called a maybe. I'm going to let that. That's a rare enough thing that I'm not really worried about that. Yeses, nos, maybes. And undeclareds. Cool. Send it. Do we want to run Prisma migrate dev to update the database? Yes. Cool. So that went just fine. We're getting this error because we have an ambiguous relation, and that is expected. So we can see in this case, wishlist item. Wishlist item has a relation to user. It actually has an ambiguous relation to user because it has two properties that refer to a list of users. So they don't refer to a list of users. Two properties that refer to some user. So we need to disambiguate. How do we do that? With the relation annotation. And that's what it's telling us to do here. Okay. So we're going to create relation annotations for all these. I usually break out my these ambiguous relations. I break it out like this. So the yeses, maybe I need a list of IDs. We'll figure that out. Fields, user ID, purchaser. I'm going to try it with just a name. I don't know if that's going to work. Let's see. Okay, so this is users said yes. Or like, let's just say users yeses. Users yeses. Okay. Users nos. Users maybes, users undeclareds. Okay, it seemed to be content with that. Now let's see what happened on the other side. So here we are on the other side. This is on the user model. And we want a many-to-many. So here it says Wevent. No. This should be we could say like registered events or like confirmed events or like yes events. Let's just do Wevent yeses. I could use things like confirmed events, rejected events, but I don't want to introduce like additional jargon when I can just stick to what's kind of already established. So this would be Welephant yeses. Welephant no's. And then this would be an array of integers. These would be arrays. So the question mark means optional, and in theory, this would be an optional array or a nullable array. But here, I'll show you. Prisma doesn't support nullable arrays. So we'll just make it an array, and it can be a defaulted empty array. It's totally fine. So this would be Welephant yes IDs. We'll have Welephant no IDs. Welephant maybe IDs. Welephant undeclared IDs. What program? What are you writing? This is a gift exchange tool. So for throwing parties, it's a tool that helps throw parties and everyone can get each other gifts. And the program that we're using is called TypeScript, basically. So TypeScript is the programming language, and Blitz is the framework that we are using. Oh, it's like so close to working, and then this pissed it off somehow. Embedded many-to-many relations are not supported in SQLite. Okay, I am about to switch out of SQLite. Embedded let's check this out. So I am about to switch out of SQLite, so maybe I should just switch over to Postgres first, but let's read what they have to say. Implicit many-to-many relations define as lists on both sides of the relation. Did I not do that? I did. Oh. Okay, for the fields thing. Is it because I need to do the fields thing? Let's try this. Yeah, I might just need to specify user IDs. That's okay. User yeses, references ID. So this would be a list of user IDs. Yeah. W event yes, user IDs. I can just make this user IDs yes. User IDs yes. Field user IDs in model Welephant can't be a list. The current connector does not support lists of primitive types. ID is an int, right? Okay. So I wonder how I would get a list of users without a list of. IDs. Okay, let's go back and keep reading what they had to say. So post and category, a post can have many categories and many categories, and a category can have many posts, yeah. There's one implicit, right, but we want to have many. And I don't really want to have many implicit. I want to have like explicit ones. Many to many relations, referential integrity. This doc is in preview. Okay, so we can see that, fields and references, but it didn't let us use. It didn't let us use an array in references. You know what? Maybe I just do one of these. The current connector does not support lists of primitive types. I think this is a SQLite issue, or the SQLite connector issue. Okay, so what I'm sensing is we need to switch over to Postgres. Okay. Well, this is great because this is an example of a huge mess, because these are two different, like in a professional setting, this would be a huge mess because these are two different tasks. And with the purpose of feature branching, ideally I'd be doing one of these at a time. Git branch, I'm still on main. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over here, comment this. Now I'm going to comment it so I can still save it. Let's go over here. I'm going to comment these new things that I've created. We can add a to-do, uncomment after PG migration. Okay, we're going to go into the issue on GitHub and we're going to say that A depends on B. So here's issue 4. Issue 5 is the events entity. Depends on this. And while we're at it, we can say that the invite feature depends on the events entity. Cool. Okay. So we've done this. Let's go ahead and check out this branch. Git checkout. We're going to commit these changes. This is the feature. This is init events entity. Push that, and we're pushing it to a feature branch, right? Now I can unstick myself because I have feature branches. So I'm going to git checkout main. You see all that's, if I git log -1, there is no Welephant thing on main. So all that stuff we just did is saved in a feature branch called 5init events. We're going to do a different feature first. So I was planning to do this later, but we have seen that because SQLite is not allowing us to connect with integer lists, we should do this first. So I'm going to git branch, I think -C might check it out. I always get confused on how to do it all in one fell swoop. But we can create the branch and then check it out separately as well if this doesn't work. So this will be for use Supabase and Postgres. So I'll git branch I'm still on main, so it did not check it out at the same time, but it created it here. So we'll get checkout, get log -1, create wish list. This is the same as tip of tree on main. We can manually verify this as well. Git fetch origin main, git reset -hard origin main. And you can see that this is fix create wish list 5bf, and this is fix create wish list 5bf. So they're the same git revision, but that's how you would basically make sure that I'm starting my work on the edge of the team's code base. So now we want to use Supabase. Cool. We'll go over here. It says SQLite database. Just change this to Postgres. Notice that if I say like F, it gives me an error. Provider not known. I'm control clicking these, it's not telling me. So the error goes away when I type Postgres. I guess I would need to go to documentation to see the list of providers. I was thinking the type definition might give me the list of providers, but it appears that's not the case. But anyway, if you happen to know ahead of time, it will confirm that's correct by the error goes away. So this would be the first step. Second step is I need to hook up the credentials. Let me take this off screen because I'm not sure if I have anything in my ENV local. Yeah, I can show you this. So here's my ENV local. This is the one that's not sent to GitHub, and this has the actual secrets in it. You can see previously it was just file db SQLite. It's a local file database. The other is a commented line, database Postgres QL. It's fake, right? This is not a real thing, but it's showing you the syntax for the Postgres protocol database URL. And that's exactly what we're going to use. So let's comment this. Let's move this over here. I'll have this username foobar. So this is definitely fake. But it's serving as a template for anyone who checks out the code base. They will know that this variable is needed. Okay. Now, I'm going to uncomment this line. I'm going to drop the top 3 lines. Okay. And now I need to get my correct database URL. That will be on the Supabase website. And it's right here. No, that's not true. That's not true. Sorry. This is something else. The database website is in a different location, isn't it? Let's go to settings. The giveaway should be that it will be prepended with the string Postgres. Let's go to the database itself. Maybe it's over here. Not seeing it here. Here's authentication settings. User authentication. So this is like user authentication. That's not what I'm interested in. I actually run into this every time I use Supabase when I'm trying to find the URL. I can't find it, and then I find it and I slap myself for thinking it was obvious. It's somewhere under database settings, but I forget where those are. Yeah, something in this user flow is really unintuitive, and I run into it every time, so I think they should edit this. Here it is. Cool. Okay, so if I go to settings, database, scroll all the way down, now I can see this connection string. And they also have two connection strings. So one is for like user facing. Let me see if I get this right or wrong. This one says connection pooling. So I think this connection string is for the server runtime after it's deployed. I think I might want a different one when I'm doing like database schema changes from my local. So we'll try this, but this might not be right. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. Let's see. You can see here, port 6543, but if I look in the connection string, 5432. So this is the thing that confuses me. So I'm going to use the connection string. For now, yeah. Put it to do. It'll be a note. I'm using non-pooled 5432 DB URL from local. And I'll use pooled DB URL from prod, but not 100% sure this pattern is correct. All right, cool. Your password, that's the part that y'all can't see. Okay. And I always get in trouble with this too because my password has like weird characters in it. Let's see if this works. It might not work. Might need to reset my password. Okay, so I put something there. Now I want to know if it worked. So the first thing that we want to do is simply initialize our Postgres database. So how do we do this? Blitz Prisma migrate. and we would like to create a migration, reset your database, and apply all migrations. We might do a database reset, apply pending migrations to the database. Yeah, we're going to do a database reset. The provided database string is invalid. Invalid port number and database URL. Okay. Y'all saw the port number I used. I didn't change it. I think it's failing to parse the string because I have goofy characters in my password. Let me try a different password, and then if these both fail, I will need to reset my password. That's okay. Got the same error. So let's reset the password. Okay, so how do I reset my password? Oh, right. I can also go to the table editor and change the change the password, but I'll use this button. This seems good. Oh, I can put whatever I want here, huh? All right, let me move this off screen. That's more convenient. I can also go to the SQL table view and do it that way. That's what I've done in the past, and that's totally fine. But this is nifty. Oh, and look at this. This is even niftier because when I generate the password, it uses the circles. So I can even stream that, and then I can copy it like this. Nice, and it doesn't have anything goofy characters like I always put. Excuse me. Okay. Ooh, but it still says authentication failed, provided credentials are not valid because my username is wrong. All right, but at least this is progress. This is progress. Postgres. Didn't I just reset it to this value? Maybe there's some kind of lag. Oh, I feel like there was something I appended to the end of the URI here before. Let me see if I have another project. No, that was it. Just making up things. And it looks like I previously used the 5432, which I'm doing. So that should be fine. All right, so we'll just wait. Maybe there's some sort of like, it takes a few seconds. Try it one more time. Ah, looks like it's kind of working out. Nope, can't reach database server. Can't reach database server. That's a new one. So you can see what's going on with my command line here. Authentication failed against database server. And this time it just said it can't reach it. Please make sure it's running. All right, let's go over here and see what's up, Supabase. Are you not running? Looks like it's running to me. Got any Postgres logs in the last hour? This is all this evening, right? Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's running, doesn't it? Maybe I need to create an initial table. Oh, Postgres database. Yeah, the schema. Data source DB Postgres SQL database Postgres schema public. Can't reach database. Let's just double check the spelling here. Yeah, that's it, right? Did I screw up the @ sign? Let me see. I screwed up the @ dv dot :5432. No, that all looks correct. You can go to my home. How do I get to my list of projects again? So here's my list of projects, Welephant. These are all paused. This one is not paused, right? So it should be running. Let's go to the SQL editor. List schemas. Cool. So yeah, it's running and it's working. But the connection is not working. Let's try the pulled URL. I shouldn't have to, but we can try it. Restart server. I shouldn't have to, but we can try it. Maybe, let me see from my other project. I used the Postgres user, yeah. I was thinking maybe this is like a poorly permissioned user, and it's just like a default sort of error that's showing up. Okay, so I copied the with pooling. There, pasted. SASL authentication failed. What does that mean? Okay, I might need to file an issue with Supabase about this. We're just talking about SSL. Okay. So I'll mark this as an improved documentation. Describe the problem. While attempting to perform an initial DB migration using Prisma and the pooled connection DB URL, I get an uninformative error that says okay, so we can leave it like that. We can also check Prisma docs for this SASL thing. Yeah, so I think this is due to the connection pooling, but it's incredibly unclear. Okay, so let's go back to using the non-pooled, and we'll tweak one setting to disable connection pooling, right? Save that. Refresh the page. And here we will try to reset again. Yeah, and it thinks the database is not running. How goofy is that? Okay, so at this point, I don't think I can use my Supabase DB. Which is really unfortunate. See if I can use npx pSQL. It might help. Oh, I would need to actually install Postgres on my computer, which I'm trying to avoid doing. Okay, so we can use a different database provider. What more fitting than Welephant SQL? What's my sign in for them? Laterally, we don't need that. So Tiny Turtle, I think, is free. Yeah, okay. So this would be Welephant. Select region, Virginia, that's fine. Great. Okay. And for reference, can't reach database server. This is the error that I was getting from Supabase. Okay, now I've hooked up the connection string to Welephant SQL. Let's try it over there. Oops, I didn't mean to hit the period. Are you sure you want to reset your database? Yes. Fallback method failed. Ooh. This could be a Blitz thing. Must be owner of view PG stat statements. Okay, no, it's a user permissioning issue. User permissioning issue. Okay. So this is the user. Let's give this user some more permissions. How do I do this? Really not sure. So we just need to do some grants to the user. What was that username? User and default database. So it's the username and default database. Here's the browser, table queries. I want to grant everything. Postgres, grant all. Yep. Grant all privileges on all tables in schema public. Bam. Says it succeeded. Says it succeeded. PG stat statements. Did it do that previously? PG stat statements. Is that a different schema? I don't think so, but let's try it anyway. Query failed. It's not a real thing. Fine. How about this? It says it succeeded. Cool. Give it about 20 seconds and try again. It might be another case of lag. Let's see if I got any questions popping up. Nope. And it's still failing. Okay, well, unfortunately, we're not able to connect to a database using Supabase or an alternative. So we might be done early today. Let's check Blitz itself, and let's go ahead and file an issue. If I was going to be very thorough, and I might try this out tomorrow, what I might do is get a project that was already working or using non-alpha Blitz release. And try a Supabase connection, try an Elephant SQL connection, and see, will those connections work for a different version of Blitz, basically. Cannot use multiple Prisma clients. I want to develop a project which will actively use 4 MySQL database connections. I can't even do it with 1. Good for you, though. Okay, so it could actually be a problem in Prisma. This is going way back to 2021. So this is like not related to the alpha. Let's look at their releases. Fixed template path generator, that's cool. I don't see anything about SQL in any of these, or Postgres. You don't see anything about SQL or Postgres. Ooh, she said good idea, so I might PR that. Cool, that'll be fun. But I'm not seeing anything about the SQL thing. Okay, so these are all unrelated. I mean, it's good she responded. They're doing a lot of great work over there. Okay, close this, close this. I'll leave that open. I'll probably try to repro the issue. Oh yeah, I wanted to report that I'm unable to connect with SQL or Elephant SQL, Supabase. So they might say, hey, like this is not a Blitz issue, but that's fine. At least I'll have it written down somewhere. Prisma issue. All Prisma issues should be opened on their GitHub. Okay. What version of Prisma is this? Prisma 4. Is there anything about Supabase? Is there anything about, yeah, they're not going to mention Elephant SQL. Sassel? No? Is this a different project, SQL Migration Connector? When trying to connect So I left them an issue, right? So maybe I can mark it as related. All right, so this branch, I'll go ahead and push it up for reproducibility. So how to reproduce, clone Welephant main head, update me.env file, or like, yeah, update the .env file. Yeah. You know what? I wonder if this is all just because I shouldn't use Prisma migrate reset. Please remove your current migration directory. If I get rid of the migration directory, is it going to recreate the migrations? Okay. Let's see. Permission denied to create database. Hi, is this a personal project? Yes, it is. Blitz Prisma DB push. Ooh, that worked. User session wishlist time. Whoa, lit. Okay, so that worked. All right. Bye, Elephant Sequel. Sorry, your second fiddle. Let's cancel this. I don't know what to tell him. If I can get it to work, then that's fine. Like, I'm gonna have like a huge discussion. It's gonna be a huge discussion back and forth for very little gain. So I'd rather not do all that. If I can get it using different commands, that's fine. Prisma PG connection error, DB errors. Hi, I had a few questions. What's up? Ask away. So I'm going to move this to my other screen and switch to the Supabase non-pooled it says the credentials are not valid. I might be using a wrong password. All right, let's let that propagate for a minute. Wanted to ask about the project you're working on and where you self-learned it from. As a junior dev, I feel like I'm not self-learning enough after graduation. Yeah, it all goes back to Google, right? So, and doing personal projects. So just trying to do different things, coming up with ideas and then searching about the best way to do it. You can also follow me on Twitter and check out some of the people that I follow. So Twitter Spaces, some of the people I follow have some cool Twitter Spaces like Theo. I'll bring his Twitter up. So I heard about Blitz from Theo, and then I also follow Brandon, that's Flybear. So here's Theo. Super cool guy. He's also on Twitch, etc. And I'm going to San Francisco for the first time here soon. Brandon Flybear. Over here is another guy I follow. Very, very cool. So getting involved in the community, basically. And then TanStack, so Tanner Lindsley. Creative React query. So basically, like following people, you hear about cool ideas, Googling, right? Staying up on the news, online conferences, ReactConf is coming up. TikTok, you can follow the TikTok and keep chatting. Done, awesome. And then it's really about projects. Every time you do a fresh project, you can compare what are the best libraries to do this thing right now. So NPM trends. And here I could say, like, compare React hooks, or like React final form and React hooks, and sort of compare them. Oh, there's no way that's right. React hook form. Yeah, that's right. And then you go, oh, I can try out this new fancier project. I've been stuck trying to get used to React for a while. I mean, check out the link in my bio. So I do one-on-one mentoring. I can unstick you super easily. Working with a mentor is a great way to do that. Doing an online course, if it'll help, but if you've been trying it for a while, I imagine you've already looked at like Free Code Camp and like Codecademy. Codecademy is a cool one, but one of the cues that I have, like, should I be recommending someone a mentor or a course? And one of the cues is if they're in tutorial hell, you should recommend them a mentor, not a course. So the front-end engineer career path right there is what I recommend if people want to learn React. But if you've been trying to learn it and you feel like you're in tutorial hell, I would say get a mentor. So check the link in my bio, and you can sign up for a call with me at Latterly. I'll leave that open because it's just a documentation request. Okay, so there should have been enough time for propagation at this point. And it worked, okay. All right, so the problem here is poor information coming from the command line when you use Prisma. So Supabase is not the culprit here. ENV working tree. All right, so I can show you my screen again. So I did Blitz Prisma DB push, so we're using DB push instead of migrate dev or migrate reset, which both failed. And let's go look at our Supabase database. So here's the actual browser. You can see I have session token, user wishlist item. So everything's in there now. I am too tired at this point. So I think we're at a good pausing point. Technically, I integrated Supabase. We haven't created records and stuff. We'll do that next time. Hopefully next time is tomorrow, or it might be next week. So stay tuned. Let's see if I check my, what if I do Blitz, Prisma, migrate. Apply pending migrations. Compare database schema from two databases and render the diff as a SQL script. Create a migration from changes in Prisma schema. I want to get an actual migration file if I can. We need to reset the Postgres database. Is that okay? Yes. Enter a new name for the migration. This would be init pg. Okay. So this creates user, session, token, wishlist item. This is all the things we just did. All the things we just did, but codified into a SQL script. It's exactly what I want. Exactly what I want. So we deleted the old SQL things, and now we have. So we deleted these old SQL migrations that were using SQLite, and now we have one large SQL migration for initializing Postgres. So I'm going to stage all these. And this is git commit -m beat init pg suba. So this is a feature branch. We've completed this feature. We're going to now do a pull request. Does it matter what languages you've been using and learning? Absolutely. You can get hired. If you're good at programming in any language, you can get a job. However, it's going to impact your interview performance, your, what is this talking about, sync one changes? Didn't I just do this? Everything is up to date. I think VS Code is lagging or something. It's going to impact your interview performance, your on-the-job performance, your portfolio construction time. These are the things that I'd be worried about, not so much whether you can land a job. If you can program in any language at all, you can get a job. So you see in front of us, it says, this branch had a recent push, compare pull request. We can click that, it's gonna work. That's a really great new feature. Previously, you had to actually come to the pull request tab. And again, GitHub is helping us. It's saying, oh, there's a recent push. It's detecting. If you have gone and taken like a lunch break or maybe come back the next day, this might not be here. So you can still click new pull request and go find it yourself. And you can compare across forks. And we want to pull from Vanderveer Welephant to Vanderveer Welephant. Now, there's a thing called forking. So like Jimbo might have his own version. So it might be from Jimbo Welephant to Vanderveer Welephant, and Vanderveer is the source of truth, the main one, the origin. So you can pick the fork, and you can also pick the branch. So we want to go from the init Supabase PG to main. We want to add it to main. And we can see on the right, the green is additions, red is removals. So we're adding this env example environment variable. So this is not a real one, but instructing the developer they'll need to update this. Deleting a bunch of these migrations and adding a single large migration. Changing the migration lock toml and the schema the Prisma schema providers to Postgres. So this all looks good. So let's click to create that pull request. And I can say closes for. Change schema to Postgres. This is like the change log, right? And if you're on a developer team, you see on the right it says reviewers. You could like add people there, and they would be like reviewing this stuff basically. Here, I'll pick on somebody. Marcus. No, my buddy Marcus is not there. All right. He is, right? Why did he not show up? Marcus. His name is just Marcus, right? Marcus is a cool guy. Y'all can go follow him if you want to. Reviewers, Marcus. Maybe he's like, his settings are like, don't assign me. So anyway, JavaScript and Python are considered the most popular beginner languages. If you know something like Java, that's cool. Java's a pain to interview with, but you can still get a job because demand is huge for Java developers. Change schema to Postgres. And mod migrations from cool. So we create this pull request. In theory, the reviewers are going to come in here and check it out, and it might be someone else that merges it, but I don't have anyone else. And I'm just like looking at I'm just going to approve my own code and merge it. And yeah, that's fine. I should shift them over to laterally, shouldn't I? So now the pull request has been merged, right? So now if I go to the main page, I can see 5 minutes ago, PG and Supa was put here because 5 minutes ago was the last commit. That's the commit time that you're seeing. But really about 20 seconds ago is when that update occurred because that's when it was merged in. And so now the code is in the main branch. You see we're on the main branch now. If I go to issues, I can come over here and see 4. Oh, I screwed up the pull request, didn't I? Did I forget the hash symbol? Yeah, this should say closes hash for. You see it says there's like a drop down there. So I forgot the hash. It would have automatically closed it. It would have automatically closed it, but I forgot that keystroke, so I'll just close it manually now. And you can see now on the issue, it references that merge pull request. How do devs honestly keep up with the learning aspect? I'm telling you, it's just projects. Projects, projects, projects. Whether that's a work project or your own project on your own time. In a work project, you're going to have to do new things. And you're going to have to Google at work and learn new skills at work or on your own. And if you're at a job where you haven't learned a new skill and it's been like a year or two, it's time to get a new job. But a good job, like if you're working at Google, Amazon, Facebook, you're learning new stuff all the time, even if you've been there 10 years. Also, conferences. A good job, they will send you to conferences, whether it's a virtual conference or an in-person conference. And you're going to learn a lot of stuff there. A lot of the like tier 1 and even tier 2 companies, sometimes even tier 3 companies, are going to have internal conferences as well, and like lunch and learns, and just different teams presenting things that they've done and learned. My work project is using a specific technology which I feel like isn't used elsewhere. You could be right about that. I mean, there are companies that have specific technologies that are not used in a lot of places. Even Fang, right? You know, I've worked a Fang job, and there are tools that are really cool, but they're internal, and like other companies don't have things like that. But again, you can just Google and say, like, you know, if you can describe the tool that you're using. So without naming the tool that I used at one place, I'll describe what it did, which is in a node package management wrapper that allows you to orchestrate multiple repositories at the same time. And I can Google that, right? And I can find other tools, open source solutions that do that. Or maybe I can just build one myself if there's not a tool out there that does that. Of course, then you do need to ask, like, how many hours will it take to build it? What's the return on investment? And the reality is that at many companies, there will be other things that you can do that have a higher return on investment than building a complicated internal tool. It's one of the reasons that Fang is special, because they have the scale to such that building these fancy tools that get you like a 2% dev performance bonus is actually really worth it for them because of the dev scale that they're operating at, which is not true for like most mid-sized companies. I've learned a lot in the back end, but I need to learn more skills. Hey, like I said, check the link in my bio, book a call with me. Glad you're here. We're going to be wrapping up the stream now. I'll answer one or two more questions, but just want to give you the heads up. Please follow the page, whatever channel you're on, TikTok or YouTube or Twitch. Follow along so you can get notified next time. Maybe if you have like alerts or notifications, hit that so you can see next time as well. Good stream. Thank you so much. Very last comment, workflow management that connects to different data sources. It's really easy to learn and to deploy. Yeah, it sounds great. It sounds like a cool tool. I agree though, like that might be a niche technology that's not used at other companies, but the workflow is a common feature at many, many companies. So it's good that you're learning that pattern. Even if the specific software that you're using is not used elsewhere, getting familiar with that pattern is a really good idea. All right, y'all. Thanks for being here. Talk to you later. Bye.